Hi, I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
Morning again, everyone. And a shout out to Gretchen and Sam Alessi, who watch us online in both Fort Myers, Florida, and Jamestown, New York. Thanks for the message. Thanks for all your support. Let's hear it for them. They're so awesome. All right. So this guy walks into a restaurant with a full-grown ostrich with him, and they sit down, and the waitress comes over, and the man says, "I'll have a double cheeseburger, a large fry, and a Coke." And she looks at the ostrich and said, "What about you?" And the ostrich says, "I'll have the same." And a short time later, the waitress came after they ate and said, "That'll be $18.94, please." And the man reaches in his pocket, pulls out exactly $18.94. And so the next day, they come in again, the man and the ostrich, and the guy says, "I'll have a double cheeseburger with large order of fries and a Coke." And the ostrich says, "And I will have the exact same." And once again, he reaches into his pocket, pulls out the exact amount of change, $18.94. This goes on for several days. And then one evening, they came in again, and the waitress said, "So would you like the usual?" He said, "No, it's Friday night, so I'm going to have a porterhouse steak, a baked potato, a salad, a glass of your best Merlot, and for dessert, apple pie and ice cream." And then the ostrich says, "And I'll have the exact same." And then, so a short time later, the waitress comes over and gives the amount, and the cost is $63.86. And once again, he pulls out the exact perfect change. The waitress is just so curious, she can't help herself, and she says, "Sir, how do you manage to always pull out the perfect amount of change for exactly every single time?" And the guy said, "Well, several years ago, I was cleaning out an attic, and I found this old lamp, and I rubbed it, and the genie came out and said he'd give me 2 wishes. And for my first wish, I wished to have exactly the money I needed for anything I wanted to purchase with me in my pocket as soon as I ordered it." And the woman said, "That is so brilliant. Most people just go for $1 million, but you are guaranteeing that you'll have enough money all the time, anytime." And he said, "Yeah, whether it's a gallon of milk or a Mercedes-Benz, I always have all the money I need all the time." And the waitress said, "So can I ask you one more thing?" He said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "What's with the ostrich?" He said, "Well, my second wish was for a chick with long legs who always agrees with everything I say." So, okay. All right. So, hey, how many people see the new Aladdin movie? Anybody see the new Aladdin movie? I just saw it the other day. Will Smith is the genie. And the thing is, even though we've seen it before, we go see it again because we love genie stories. Whether it's 2 wishes or 3 wishes, we love it because getting a genie is like hitting the Mother Lode, because you know you're going to get whatever it is you want to make you happy. I actually didn't know exactly what the source of the word Mother Lode, so I looked it up. And it is a principal vein or zone where you find an abundance of gold or silver. And so hitting the Mother Lode really represents connecting with the source of something valuable, of something in abundance that you really desire to experience in your life. And so today we're going to talk about how do we tap into the Mother Lode as we move into week 3 of our 5-week series on the book, whose title I'm not using, but I am using the subtitle, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness. It's by Jen Sincero. It's really, really fabulous. And it's called How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. And what she really does is just talk about spiritual principles we can use to take our good life, our decent life, our pretty good life, and to make it an awesome life, to make it an amazing life, to make it a more fulfilling life. And the thing I like about this book is because I really think one of the reasons we aren't living as fulfilling a life, as great a life as we can live, because at some level I do think we doubt our greatness. We doubt our beauty, we doubt our intelligence, we doubt our talent, we doubt that we can make an amazing difference in the world. I mean, we doubt sometimes that our dreams can come true. We doubt that we can truly be happy or really find a deep and incredible experience of love. And the thing is, we doubt our awesomeness daily. And we doubt our awesomeness in small ways as well as in big ways, because at some level, I don't know if we always think that it's possible. And I think sometimes we don't think we're capable, and then often at some level, not even realizing it, sometimes I don't know if we think that we're actually worthy of something magnificent. And so, so our mind sometimes believes that things aren't possible, believes we're not capable, and believes that we aren't worthy. It's an important thing because our minds are powerful. Our minds are powerful and amazing. They can do great things. They can hold a vision. They can hold an intention. They can focus on greater things, come up with inspirational ideas. But we sometimes struggle with our minds because they aren't always easy. Our minds can chatter and run, wildly and just get distracted easily. They could focus on negativity and worry and overthink and obsess about things and engage in an activity I call MSU, which is called making stuff up. It really does that well. It tends to spin a lot of unnecessary drama and upset, just overthinking. But the worst thing our minds does that challenges us is it believes things that aren't true. And we talked about it last week, that sometimes you could have someone and be beautiful and brilliant, and all they can see is fat and ugly. Sometimes we believe this world is unfair, and no matter what's going on, that's all we can see is how unfair the world is. Or we can think things like rich people are just stuck up and they're not nice. All men are jerks. Whatever it is that we think about, sometimes if focusing on it tends to draw more of that. And a limited mindset tends to limit our experience of whatever it is that we want to have in our lives. In the book of Romans, it says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And so there's a hope that we can renew our minds, that we can transform our lives. One of the things I've come to realize is that every single human being has got some stuff they're dealing with. There is some struggle, some challenge, some pain, and whether it's with a relationship or whether it's finances or whether it's our career or whether it's a dysfunctional family, whether it's depression, whether it's an addiction or abuse or poverty or an illness, whatever it is, we all have stuff. And the most important thing about it isn't just the stuff, it's how do we deal with the stuff and how do we view our stuff and use our mind as we relate to it. And here's the interesting trick is that Einstein put it beautifully. He said, you can't solve the problem at the same level of thinking and the same mind that created the problem. So whatever is going on in our lives that through the mind is we can't use the mind to think ourselves out of it. That we have to go to a higher level of mind to really transform that experience and to handle it in a greater way. We have to go into the mind of God. That's why, Paul said in Philippians, let the same mind that was in Christ Jesus be in you, to make our minds one with the mind of God, because that taps into that field of infinite possibilities. It taps into that intelligence that created everything in the universe. And as amazing as it is to know that we've been created with the same source, power, energy that created the stars and the moon and everything beautiful and amazing in this world, is we have a hard time aligning our mind with it because we can't see it. And we would rather align our minds with the outer world than the inner world. We would rather align our minds with the visible than the invisible, the physical than the spiritual. But the challenge is aligning our minds with the outer things. That is just a fraction of life, and it's not the Mother Lode. It's not the thing that'll ever fulfill us or bring depth and meaning to our lives. Jesus said, Jesus did an interesting thing. You know what Jesus prayed in the morning? He prayed in the midday, he prayed in the afternoon, he prayed in the evening. And you know what he did the next day? He prayed in the morning, he prayed in the midday, he prayed in the afternoon, and you know what he did the day after that? He prayed in the morning, in the evening. Whether it was Monday, it was Tuesday, and Wednesday. You know what he was doing? He was praying in the morning, midday, and the afternoon. He was praying consistently. You know why? Because he wanted to connect with the Mother Lode. He wanted to connect with the source. And when you think about it, why would Jesus need to pray so often? Why? Because Jesus was modeling for us how to connect with that source at a deeper level and tap into the source that makes everything possible. Jesus had never said, worship me. You know what he said? He said, follow me. And he's trying to lead us and say, tap into it regularly. and you will deepen that connection and open yourself to a world of possibilities you've not known before, to a peace that surpasses all human understanding, to a love that is healing and comforting and enriching, to abundance and possibilities beyond our imagination, that's available. And the reason to do it consistently, pray and meditate all the time, because it takes us deeper into the mind of God. And it creates three minds that I think are absolutely vital to handle anything in your life well, and that is it creates a grateful mind, a giving mind, and a forgiving mind. That's how you tap into the Mother Lode, is to consistently pray so often that you create a grateful mind, a giving mind, and a forgiving mind. How many people here believe that we live in a beautiful and amazing world, a great country, and our lives are richly blessed? Anybody? Okay. And as true as that is, and it is, unfortunately, sometimes we spend way more time complaining about what we don't like, judging, condemning, and criticizing life as it is or life as we wish it was. Spend time focusing on what we don't have, what we don't like, what we're not getting. We focus on these things so much, that we miss out on so much of the good and the joy in our lives. I think I've shared this once before. I was flying on a Southwest Airlines flight somewhere, and there was a lot of turbulence. I kind of freak with a lot of it, turbulence. Get a little anxious and nervous, and there was an excessive amount of turbulence. And you ever fly on a plane, and there's a lot of turbulence, you think, oh my God, suppose this is the last day that I live. Suppose this is it. Apparently nobody else does, but I did that one time, and I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, if this is it, what would I say? What would I say to my family? What would I say? And without hesitation, even in my freaking out mindset, the words came to me. What I would say is thank you. I would say thank you for this good life, this great life, this wonderful everything that I've had in my life. Now, that's amazing, because 3 decades earlier, I was in a place where my life changed and I couldn't see any good. The only thing my mind could see was what I lost, was what I didn't have, what I'll never get to do again, what I'll never experience, what I'll never achieve, what I'll never become. And I was so stuck there, I literally believed with this mind that my life was no good, my happiness was gone forever, and nothing would ever change. And so fast forward again, back to today, is I am so grateful because the very first time, the first Unity message I ever attended was on being grateful and what a difference it makes. Anybody ever have a talk written and you could swear the minister wrote it for you? They were eavesdropping and so that first thing taught me to appreciate, because it's always good. And the more we're grateful and the more we're thankful and appreciate for all the little things and the big things, that it shifts our mindset, it shifts our perspective. We become more positive, we see more abundance, we feel more joy, we appreciate, and life just becomes lighter and more joyful. And so today, thankful for family, thankful for travel, thankful for food, thank you for nature and music and the song of the birds, thank you for audiobooks and sunsets and bad jokes, all of it. I appreciate it all. I really do, as you can tell. And so, I think we think, oh yes, say thank you and give thanks, but it's more than that. It's about a consciousness and a mindset of gratefulness and thankfulness. Do you know how important gratitude is? Is in the book of Timothy, they say being ungrateful, not being thankful, is equal to being unholy, blasphemous, unforgiving, and not honoring your parents. All of the things. And you know why? Not being grateful and taking things for granted is considered so bad is because it rejects and denies the goodness and blessings that God has put in our lives. It is tantamount to rejecting God by not being grateful and thankful for ourselves and our lives and all the good. Remember in Luke 17 when Jesus healed 10 lepers and only one came back to give thanks, and Jesus was surprised? And he wasn't surprised because he was looking for some praise. He was surprised because they missed out on an opportunity to feel and to express a level of joy and appreciation for something marvelous that happened in their lives. I think it's so important for us to take time to give thanks, but not just to give thanks, but to feel thankful. See, sometimes we'll just have a quick thanks, but not really let it in. Like one of the things I've shared many, many times, because it's one of my favorite things, is I'm so grateful to feel the sun on my face and to close my eyes. There's something so spectacularly nurturing and comforting about it. I just feel so blessed. And I pause and I drink that in of how good that feels in the 11 months except July. But I'm just saying, come on, this is Arizona. This is serious. But anyway, but whatever it is that touches you, like anybody know what sea foam is? Sea foam is a hard candy, and I think it has more sugar than anything in the world. I haven't had it in 40 years, and a friend gave me some recently, and I bit into that, and that hard, crunchy thing melted like honey in my mouth. And then the chocolate just was, so creamy and delicious. I was so thankful in that moment, so blessed. I will never eat it again, but I'm just saying, because I got enough sugar for the next 40 years out of that. And so the point I'm making is there's so many good things in our lives, but how often do we actually pause to really let it in and let ourselves feel grateful? And little things, it doesn't matter. It's all those things are such rich and wonderful blessings, and we sometimes miss out, cheat ourselves of not appreciating and enjoying them in great and wonderful ways. Another important thing about having a grateful mind is to express that gratitude to others, to thank the people in our lives that make a difference, to even give thanks to APS, to give thanks, for all the things. Writing our bills, being thankful for that. That's a thankful mindset. To have air conditioning, to have electricity, to have, to thank the bank, to thank, our car payment. All that stuff provides so much for us to be thankful for. And then when you express it to individuals, it's so powerful. Who doesn't like to have appreciation be expressed? And doesn't it feel good to thank someone? It's a blessing all the way around. But even when things aren't going as well, in 1 Thessalonians, it says, in all things give thanks, for this is God's will for you. In all things give thanks for this, because God's will is that we recognize the good and enjoy life even when things aren't perfect. I have a fridge magnet, I've said many times, it says, life isn't perfect, but it still can be wonderful when it's not perfect. And the fact is, life is often not perfect. But even in the not perfect, ideal times, there is still God, there's still good, there's still blessings, and there's so much to enjoy and appreciate. A few weeks back, a friend had lent me this van to travel back with, and somebody was driving me, and somehow we accidentally locked the keys in the car while it was running. That's not easy. That takes a lot of skill right there. And so I called my friend, and he said, that's the only key I've got. And it's 100 degrees outside, and so it's like, okay. And so called AAA. Praise the Lord, some great things happened. I was thankful that I'm a member of AAA. And I'm thankful that even though they said it was a 2-hour estimation before they could come, they came in 30 minutes. I'm thankful that they actually got the key out, because it would have cost me $600 to get them a new key. And the battery died, and I was thankful that they charged up the battery again. And I was thankful for that person who's been driving me around a lot as well. Even when things don't go well, there's a lot of good still to enjoy. Sometimes, like 1 or 2 things in life aren't going well. We let those 1 or 2 things spoil all the other things that are going on and rob us of just being able to enjoy life, to enjoy the here and now. Other thing about gratitude is when you have a mindset of gratitude all the time, you're recognizing the good and appreciating, you know what it does? It actually increases your faith for the future. Because if you're enjoying and appreciating good now, you have faith that there'll be good in the future, so your mind tends to not go to fear the more you're grateful you are. And the way Jesus used gratitude was he used it and proved that gratitude attracts more good. Remember the loaves and fishes? The first situation that there wasn't enough, first thing he did, he gave thanks for what they had, and then he gave thanks in advance, and more good will come. Gratitude is a more powerful practice, but it's a consciousness, not just an act. It's a mindset of an appreciation for all the good in our lives that's always there, and recognizing it and enjoying it daily. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And no energy is higher and no frequency higher that we can create than feeling grateful. and getting a mindset of gratitude, a grateful mind. The next kind of mind is a harder one, and that's a giving mind. You know, giving scares us when we think about giving. You know, it frightens us. And there's no place that frightens people to hear the word giving than a church. It is a place that frightens us. And the thing about it in general, and I'm just kind of joking about that, is that we assume giving is losing. We're giving away. This is being taken away from us. And whether it's money or time or energy or advice or whatever it is, we feel like we're kind of wasting it or giving it away, and that's just not true. There's a profound law of giving that makes such a huge difference in enriching our lives. You know, here's what it says in Luke 6. Give, and you will be given. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap, for the measure you give will be the measure you receive. And it also says God, in a different scripture, God loves a cheerful giver. And here's the interesting thing. It says, given you will be given, but notice the things of describing the giving that will come back to you, that you'll be given. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That when you give, you will give even more back than you have given. Giving activates the circulation and flow and increase of good in all areas of our lives. You know, studies have shown the happiest people are people who give, who love to give. And give in all forms of helping others, bringing joy to other people. The more you help others, it makes them feel good. And when you make them feel good, it makes you feel good. It actually creates a double blessing in so many ways. I remember Richard Rogers was telling me a year ago about, he was reading a book by Napoleon Hill, and he's saying that this one guy, Napoleon Hill, told a guy who was struggling in his business, I want you to go to all the neighborhood stores and all the places, and I want you to just do something nice. Introduce yourself, but do something nice, free, just for them. And he said literally within months, that guy's business and life had changed. Because instead of staying home and whining about what wasn't working, he was out there giving, and it absolutely changed his life. Jen Sincero tells a wonderful story in this book about a friend who had MS, and her mentor told her to give away 29 things in the next 29 days. That it would change her life. And first she blew it off, but then things weren't going well. She thought she'd give it a try. First thing she did was give a call to a friend who wasn't feeling that well, just to check in and see how she was doing. And steadily she found ways to give, and she found the more she gave, she got excited about giving, she got energized about, and more joyful about giving. By the 14th day, she was feeling better, her business was booming, and she was feeling so good, she created a blog about how good it feels to give. And not only did this blog go really well, but she ended up writing a book called 29 Gifts, which was a bestseller on the New York Times bestseller list. All from giving. Wouldn't that be a cool experiment to give something for 29 days in a row and see what kind of cool things it does to our lives? You know, and whether it's a compliment or encouraging someone, or whether volunteering with seniors or children or whatever it is, you know, leaving a little extra tip for a waiter or a waitress, whatever it is. What are ways that you can give in simple and wonderful ways? And we think it's so hard to give. You know, we think it costs so much time or money or energy, and it's simple. My mentor, I met him here. His name is Dr. Kermit Long. He was a Methodist minister for 60 years. I met him at 90, and he passed at 94. But from 90 to 94, he called me every single week. It was just a 30-second phone call, and it began like this. I've mentioned it before, but it's so good. I just like even saying it. He'd say, "Hello, my beautiful brother Richard." He didn't need to say anything else. He could have hung up right there, and it made me happy. And here's the thing, 30 seconds once a week, and he's been gone for about 8 years, and it still makes me smile. It still touches my heart, and it still makes a difference to me. We think giving is such a hard and difficult thing. And again, it's not an act, it is a mindset. How can I brighten someone's life today? How can I lighten someone's load? How can I help someone's dream come true? Any simple little thing. How can I share a smile? You know, how can I tell them how important they are, or what a good look? And I mean, even thanking people who, you know, like my chiropractor. I always thank him. He's such a good job. Yeah, it's his job, or my pool person, but when they do it with such love, it's hard not to want to just give to them, give thanks. Just give love, give everything, anything, because it absolutely makes a difference. It circulates and increases good for everyone. And the final one, and the hardest one, is having a forgiving mind. When we have a physical injury, we cut or bruise, we'll go get a Band-Aid, we'll see a doctor, we'll take care of it. When it comes to an emotional wound, however, we sometimes don't know how to handle it. We tend to bury it, or pretend, or deny and stuff it. And it not dealt with tends to fester. The other way we handle it is the other extreme, is about wallowing in it and getting stuck in it and retelling it. And neither one is very healthy. Neither one is very effective. But developing a forgiving mind is an important thing, because forgiveness, helps release. But we don't know it sounds so scary to us. We would rather resent and badmouth and think of revenge or the silent treatment or block them out of our lives than actually do what is healthy, which is to forgive, to let go of the pain, to let go of the past. And so why is forgiving so hard? And here's a couple of reasons. One, we associate forgiveness with being weak and being a doormat. We associate forgiveness with the fact that those people, it'll excuse their behavior and let them off the hook. Or we'll think that they don't deserve it, or we'll think hating them will actually punish them, and hating them will actually protect us. Or sometimes we take it so personally, we don't know how to, remove that energy from us. And the biggest one is because we think we don't know how to forgive. But the truth is, you don't know how to forgive. The biggest question is, are you willing to forgive? Are you willing to let go? Are you willing to release the past? Are you willing to reestablish a sense of peace? Are you willing to move on from that story to create something better? It's really about a willingness. God will take care of the rest. But the fact is, are we willing to forgive? Are we willing to release? Are we willing to let go? Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And when we are hating and resenting, we know not what we do. Because what we're doing is actually hurting ourselves more and more and more. I would say without a doubt that forgiveness and the ability to let go and release is a vital life skill. Because nobody will get through this life without saying something or having something said or done that doesn't disappoint or feel betrayed or anger or upset. No one will get through this life without making a mistake where they feel regret or ashamed or upset. And we have to learn how to forgive. We have to learn how to forgive to find peace, to find oneness. Nothing sucks the life out of any success than holding on to resentment and bitterness and blame and being unwilling to forgive. That's what stops our greatness, is to hold on to stuff. Jesus said, disciples said, should we forgive 7 times? And as many as 7? And Jesus said, no, 70 times 7. The number 7 means completion. I think the best way I heard it put, somebody once said, you should only forgive. You don't have to forgive. The only time you should forgive is if you want to have peace of mind, good health, happiness, and live a nice life. But other than that, it's not necessary at all. So the question is, who do you need to forgive? What is it time to let go? And what in the past or what pain do you need to release? And all you need to do is to be willing. God will take care of the rest. The question is, are you willing to let it go? The mind is a powerful thing. And the thing about the mind is it has the power to choose. So if life isn't going well and we want to get better, we can choose to try to think our way out. We can choose to get caught up in the outer stuff and chase that. And we can choose to wait for a genie to come to give us 3 wishes. Or we can choose to realize that the problems and the struggle in our life cannot be solved at the level of thinking and mind that we have now, that we need to immerse our mind in the mind of God, to do it consistently, daily, and regularly, so that we develop a grateful mind, a giving mind, and a forgiving mind. And I guarantee you, whatever is going on in your life, that having that container of a grateful mind, a forgiving mind, and a giving mind will make all of your problems lighter. It'll make all of your goals easier. It will make your nows better and it'll make your life fuller. Because when you connect with the Spirit of God and meditate and go deeper and create that kind of mindset of grateful giving and forgiving, you would have truly hit the Mother Lode. God bless you all.